Howdy folks, AJ coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and today is going to be another vlog. I'm going to talk about a few different topics. I'll give you the headlines right now so that if it's something you're interested in, you can stick around, and if it sounds like stuff you're not interested in, you can go find something else to watch and have a nice day. So, to start out with, I want to talk about the issue of early access games. Speaking of course, video games here. There's been a lot of different game commentators that have weighed in on this, and I'd like to give my opinion on early access games and that whole topic. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was I just wanted to talk real quick about the Steam sale, the current Steam sale, the winter sale that's going on right now. Talk about some of the games that I've picked up, what I think about them, and that type of thing, and what type of deals are out there and all that. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was there is a website called The Collection, I believe, that has released a lot of vintage console games so they can be played in your browser for free, basically. Atari 2600, that type of thing. And I'll go into a little bit more detail later in the video. But those are the main topics I'm going to talk about in this vlog. So if those are things you're interested in, then have a seat, grab something to drink or whatever, and let's get started. So to kick it off, on this issue of early access games, what this is basically, if you're not aware, is there's a lot of games now through Steam and other gaming platforms that are offering, access to their alpha or their beta or whatnot. And basically you're paying for the game and you're getting in what they're calling early access, and the game is not nearly finished sometimes, or sometimes it may be closer to finish than others, but sometimes, and there's no guarantees that the game is even going to get finished. So you're basically putting your money out there and hoping that they're going to keep their word, finish the game, and put out a decent product and so forth. And the controversy has been that a lot of game commentators have been saying that they don't like the idea of early access becoming the norm and so forth, because they're afraid that it's going to affect the overall quality control of products and things. And if they've already got your money, what's the incentive for them to really polish the game, etc., that type of thing. So, here's my take on it. There is indeed a change in how we are getting our content. It used to be that if you were lucky enough to get invited into a beta test, it was generally done in kind of a covert way where you got an email and you applied for a beta. Maybe sometimes you did, if you didn't even apply, and you just got an email because you had registered a game or something at some point, and you get invited to the beta, and it was all under a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, and everybody was kind of hush-hush about it, and you did your beta and everything else like that, and then once the game came out, then you could brag and say, oh, I was in the beta, that type of thing. Now, it seems like companies are using the dangling carrot for a beta test invite, or an alpha test in some instances invite, and they're offering these founders packs that will allow you to get into the alpha or the beta and to get a title and get items that you'll only be able to get that way. So when the game actually launches, if you have that mount or whatever, that item or whatever it is, it's kind of a bragging thing. And so they're using that as an enticement, the dangling carrot again, to get you to buy their game early. And I'm assuming it's to generate capital so they can keep producing the game and so forth. And so there's definitely been this swing that way. And the one example I can give is EverQuest Next. Landmark is offering these founder packs and saying that you'll have, if you buy a certain pack, you get alpha access. And who knows, we're talking about semantics here, alpha, beta, who are we to know whether it's an alpha test or a beta test? They're going to let you in the game early, basically, and other bonuses and so forth. But they're charging for the top one is $99, and there's one I think for $20. But it's definitely a change in how the game industry is doing things. So here's my overall impression of what I think about all this. It used to be that you had a feeling of, if you bought a game on a disc, that you owned it, you could install it, uninstall it anytime you wanted to, and what was on that disc was solid. It was whatever the quality level was, that's what it was, and you had it and you could install it. And I have tons of them in my library, and no one could jerk around with that. Well, now we're going to this digital age where we're getting all of our content digitally. We're downloading it and so forth. We're not necessarily getting physical discs anymore, very few of them, if at all, for PC gaming. And so there is a change in the guarantee of your content. So, and I'll use the example, Star Wars Galaxies, my favorite MMO of all time, Star Wars Galaxies. They showed that there is no guarantees anymore, because that game, you had, I believe it was 32 professions, if I remember correctly, and at some point Sony decided that they wanted to completely revamp the game. Now, this is for people that have been paying, they bought the game, they've been paying a membership, a subscription for months, sometimes years for some people, and so forth. They've invested all this money, all this time, many hours, and overnight, Sony decides they're going to revamp the game, and they got rid of most of the professions. They just got rid of them. So you could have a max level bioengineer, whatever it was, bioengineer, master doctor, master bioengineer, whatever it was, and you had built up your reputation on the server. You were making a good living for your character by selling your services and so forth, and it was, everybody was having a good time. And then overnight, your professions are gone, and they tell you have to pick a new profession out of, I think it was 11 that there was. It went from 32 to 11. So right there was when the game changed. And I mean the game, not that particular game, but I mean the game overall, that there were no more guarantees. Because especially with having games now, even if it's a single player game and some of them require you to be on the internet, connected to the internet at all times, they could decide to change the content at any point. They could say your game needs to be updated, you have to update this patch, and you patch it, and now something has changed in the game. So the issue of these early access games where people are saying, well, there's no guarantee that they're going to finish the game. There's no guarantee that they're not going to change it before the game launches, and you like it now and then it's going to change. Well, I got news for you. There's no guarantee on any of it anymore. There's no guarantee when you buy a game, you spend 20, 30, 50, 100 hours investing in your character or whatever, and it could be a single player game, it could be a multiplayer game, and the company could just decide to change it at any point. And you paid full price. Let's say you paid $50, $60 for it or whatever. There are no guarantees. So coming back to the whole issue of this early access thing, I think if the game looks interesting to you and you want to invest a little bit of money and say, I think this is you want to do a little research and say, this company seems to be pretty legit, and I think the product's going to be good, and word of mouth has been pretty good, I don't see any reason why you should be afraid to invest in that game. So, because again, there are no guarantees. Even with AAA titles that come out from AAA, producers and everything else, the days of guarantees are over. Unless you want to go and buy a disc and load it up and somehow make it so that the game can never be patched or whatever, and then the content you're playing is not going to change. basically we're living in the world where there are no guarantees now for games. So that's it on that topic. So enjoy your early access games if you want to partake. Next thing on the Steam sale, I have picked up quite a few, a lot of indie titles. I picked up Gone Home. I picked up State of Decay, Legend of Grimlock. I've also got some other, I got Trine 2, The Walking Dead I already had, but I went ahead and finished the entire first season because the second season is out now. And Outlast. And these are games there's been other ones that I've gotten, but these are the ones that I've been playing that I really enjoyed. Gone Home is a very different type of game. It's gotten a lot of bad reviews, but I believe that from what I've read, that the reviews that it's getting are from people that had a completely different expectation of what the game was going to be rather than what it ended up being. And what it is it's a point-and-click adventure game, like the old school point-and-click adventure games. There's no combat. There's no access. You're basically trying to solve a story, solve a little bit of a mystery. It's all contained in one big house, and you're going through the house, and you're trying to solve this mystery as to where everybody is and all these types of things. And it's not a real long game, so I would not recommend it at full price. It's $20 at full price, and it's not worth the $20 full price. But during the Steam sale, I got it for $6, and it was well worth the $6. It only lasts. It's about a 2-hour game. It was 2 hours for me to finish it, and so for $6, it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun unraveling the story and all that type of stuff. So there's just one example of a kind of an off game that not a lot of people know about or been playing or whatever that I enjoyed. But then again, get it at the sale price. It's not worth full price. So I'd like to know if you have picked up any games on this sale, which ones you've liked, which ones you didn't like. You can leave it in the comments below. I think that would be good. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was, and I'll do this quickly because we're coming up on 13 minutes here. And I'll put a link below for this collection, and it's basically all these old school console games, Atari 2600, ColecoVision, and some other ones that they've got the games, and they basically uploaded them, and you can play them in your browser. I was playing Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong, this morning, and one other one. I can't remember what the other one was I was playing, but they're just free to play in your browser. And if any of you are nostalgic about some of those old console games and so forth, it might be worth checking out. So I will put that in the description so that you guys can go directly to it if you want to check it out. And I think that's going to do it for this video. And we will catch you guys on the flip side.